So next thing that I'm going to show you is mesh editing. So there are many changes that we can do to this mesh, and so first we have to open the correct menu. So you have several, so 4 different menus here. Right now we're on inspection, but what we need to be on is mesh editing. And now here we have a few different things. So the first thing I'll show you, this is the tool for closing holes. So here you see there are many small holes that, because the model wasn't scanned perfectly, if we want we can close those. I usually recommend not to close these, because whenever if you close these holes, you are making imaginary data. So all of these scans, so what we see here, this came from the real model, but what you then create is not real, but the software created. And usually this the software can do it really well. So the precision is going to be really good, but still, unless you need to do it for some reason, I recommend not doing this. But there are some applications, for example, some types of reverse engineering demand this, and if you are making a surface comparison between the scan and the original CAD model, for example, it's good if you don't have many holes. So it's nice if you know this, how to do this. And so this is the tool here, and you can do it 2 different ways. Interactively means manually, and then automatically. So first I'll show you automatically, and again on the help you can get explanations of what all these things mean more in depth. But right now, what maybe is the most important is here maximum hole size. So this hole has some dimension. So from here to here, there's some, I don't know, 5 millimeters, let's say, for example. And here we can then say maximum hole size now is 10. So this automatical hole closer is going to close this hole. But if we say maximum hole size is 1 millimeter, then this won't get closed. And then this number of edges is here. You see there, this is made out of many edges because this surface is made out of triangles. You can also limit those. So right now I think maybe 10 millimeters is okay. And if you want to do this, you need to select what area of the model you want to do this for. And what I'll do now, I'll just say for everything. And the fastest way to do that is you can click here, select all. You see it now selected the whole model. And if I say apply, let's see, hopefully it closes some. Yeah, so you see now it closed this. So whatever is gray now, it used to be a hole. So you can play around with those. What is the maximum hole size? What is the number of edges? If you want to see exactly how it is. For example, here, well, can you see here there is a bump, yeah, from this angle. So this is actually really flat, or not flat, but correct cone. But now this hole closing made this wavy surface. So if you would be then you of course then forget where were the holes that you were closing, and then you might be making some measurements on this area and you will get really bad result. But actually this is not real data, so that's why you have to be careful with this. So I'm going to accept this for now. It's a training piece, so it doesn't matter so much. So next we have automatic or interactive hole closing. So here we are just showing to the software what we want closed, and then the software will do it automatically. And so filling result here is you can select what you want, and actually I can show you one thing here. So if you open here on the side, so either you can open by clicking here or you can open it by pressing the tab button, and then you just have to click on the model. So here you have different information and there are different things that you can control. And if you go to display right now, you can say here show mesh structure, and let's close this. So now this is showing you all the different triangles that this mesh is made out of. So let's keep that on. And now I'm going to try to close this big hole, and how you do that now is hold Control and just click somewhere here close to the hole with the left mouse button. So again, this was a very big hole, so it's making these messy things. But what I would like to show you right now is filling result. If you put it very smooth, it made very many of these triangles, and also now the surface became smoother as it was before. But if I put it rough, you see it makes really big triangles, so the result is very bad. So this depends on what you want or what you are doing, or where you are doing it. For example, if there was a hole here on this flat area, it can be pretty rough and the result is going to be fine. Because it's just flat area, you can easily make flat area with these big triangles. But for example here, this is really quite complicated geometry. You need at least normal, but it's not really good. So let's see what does the smooth make. Smooth is quite okay, but I think very smooth is what we would need. But like even now with very smooth, because here it was such big piece missing, you can see that it's not really great. And we can do one thing to make the result better. So if we cancel this, so this is such a big hole, it's probably better if it just stays open. It's going to be very hard for the software to do this properly. But here, these holes here are pretty small, so we could close those. But the problem now is that the tool for closing holes does the whole hole. Or actually there was an option to only select a smaller area, but I want to demonstrate something else right now. Here we have create mesh bridge. So if we create a connection between this edge and this edge, for example, and then we say close this hole here, it's only going to close here, but then it's going to leave this area alone. So let's try that. Hold Control and click on this one, and then still holding control you can click on this one. Oh, this is not very nice. So let's see if we can change it with this tangential tension. So now I'm changing these values by just scrolling on the mouse. So should it go down? No, it should go up. So this is not a good place, I guess. Let's try something else. Let's try this one. Oh, this actually looks pretty good. It's nice and flat. Yep. So tangential tension means oh wait, what is that? Oh, it's just back. Okay. So if this surface and this surface have to be tangent or not. So now they don't. I think, is it like that? Yeah. So now let's see from this side. Okay, yeah. The bigger the number, the less tangent they are. So let's put it to 50. So apply. And close. And now if I go back to interactive hole closing, and if hold control and left mouse button here, you see this is now a much better result. Still there is not great here. Maybe it would be good if we made another bridge there, but it's much better as what we got before. And one tool that you can use here is this delete neighbor. And you have to be careful with this, because delete neighbor means if there, let's say if we are closing this hole, it will delete this first set of triangles that are touching the hole, and then if you put more, it will create delete the next line and so on. So if you what the purpose of this is to make the transition more smooth. But if you put it too much, you are going to eat the whole part basically. So it's again, you are getting a nicer looking result, but it's not true to the original part. So I wouldn't use more than one, unless, well, it's hard to say. You have to see each situation is different, so I can't tell you the exact recipe. But well, in this case maybe even 0 would be good, because it's such a sharp edge here. Oh, actually this is now already distorted from before. Well, let's say 1. But yeah, so if this was a real part for customers, I would never do this, because it's the surface is just getting worse, and the measurements result are going to get worse. And now one more thing, sometimes you have this kind of artifacts on the surface. Maybe there was some extra dust there, or some dirt or something. So this cylinder here is just should be just like smooth, but something happens that there is some artifact here, and sometimes you might need to delete those to make it smooth. So I'll do that here in this case. So I'll take select on surface, and now I'm pressing the left mouse button, I'll just select it like that, and you take this, hold the right mouse button and select this with the plus, and now to delete this you just hold control and press delete. So now we have a hole here, and maybe this one I would actually close also on a real case, because this is such a smooth surface here, the result is going to be really good, I think. So apply. So here in this case you can't even see it. So if you have this kind of very predictable geometry, it's easy for the software to build it, but this is quite complicated, so it's hard for it to guess what it should be. But if you have like a flat plane, or you have like a nice cylinder, those are places where I don't mind if you close the holes. So next, what we have here is smooth the mesh. So let's see if we have a, well, I guess we could use it here. So smooth is again this a bit dangerous tool, because it can it will again be distorting surfaces, but sometimes if you have very rough surface and you want to build some things and you're having problems, for example, you can use this. Or if you have some dirt, like small dust that is giving you problems, you could also use that. So let's see if it's going to work on this. So I'll just select this, and actually maybe I can select a bit more, so the software is going to know what I want to be, what is the normal good surface. So surface tolerance I have to put much higher if I want those. So surface tolerance is how much out of the general plane or surface, like this should be sticking out, so it's going to be fixed. And filter radius. Well, this is not, I don't think I can show you how this is working properly on this model, but I think you get the idea. If these bumps here were really small, or like 1/10 of their size, you can remove them to be smooth, same as what we did there, but the features that you're trying to remove have to be much smaller. So actually I'll just cancel this right now. Maybe I'll try to find some model where I can see those things, where it can be used, and I'll show it to you later. But this is really not, I don't really use this. And right now I can still show you, actually, since we have this small area selected, there are two things that here in the selection menu that are useful. So invert selection, you select, the software will select, well, it will just invert selection, exactly what it says. And then if you want to just deselect everything, you just say this button, the X button, deselect all, and you have everything here. Okay, next tool is thin mesh, and this is actually what you should use, because now here these triangles are really small, but they don't have to be as small, because especially here, for example, on this flat surface, these could be, the triangles here could be really big, and it would be still okay because it's flat. And why that is important, because when you have this, if this is a really small model, a few centimeters, it's not such a big deal. But if you would scan something that is in tens of centimeters or towards a meter, if you would have these small triangles, the file would be huge. Like it can easily go to gigabytes, and that makes it difficult to use because um, the computer is going to have to be working very much, and it's not necessary. And actually, if you open this information tab here, actually, if it says no elements are selected, just click on your mesh and it's going to show it. So here it says number of points. So we have 273,000 points. And it's quite useful if you take this, check this when you are reducing the number of points, because just to have a feeling, because if you have a bigger bigger model, 270 might be actually a good number for it, but this is a small one, so 270 is too much for it. So, and then this is a bit trial and error kind of thing. So now we have 270. Let's try how the model would look if we reduced it to 100,000. So I won't take surface tolerance. I recommend you read about it again. I will use number of points. And wait, is this already? No, now it's set to 1 million. So I'll take it to 100,000, and we have to select the surface where we want to reduce. So I'll take everything, but sometimes it's also, for example, here I made this smooth hole filling. Sometimes you might want to just select that area where you fill the hole or something like that, or if you want a specific area, you can select only that. So now it's everything, and this is now just saying because it's such a big area, it won't show the preview, but if I just say apply, you see now we have a lot less triangles. Well, it looks quite okay, but I think we can go also a little bit lower still. So I'll just select everything again. Let's say 75,000. This might be okay. And you can see here, it's a flat part, so it reduces the number of triangles by a lot. But here, wherever there's a bit more complicated, like for example here, this was flat, but here there is a small ridge, so it kept more. So the software is smart like that. It doesn't just reduce the number everywhere, but it reduces it. First it reduces on places where it doesn't matter. And like if you see here, these rounds here have more, and then it goes into flat, and then again it has more. So I think this would be quite okay. It wouldn't even hurt to go a little bit lower, but it's not necessary. Like 75,000 is it's okay. The file won't be so big. It's no problem. And then maybe I can show you what happens if you reduce it too much. So let's say maybe 40,000. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, actually it's still really okay. So I don't know, let's go to 10,000. Okay, now we already start to see some we are losing the the details in the surfaces. So this was before really smooth, but now you can see it's starting to get pretty blocky. So if we go, well, let's see what happens if we go to 1000. Okay, yeah, it totally messes it up. So I don't know, let's say 5000. So okay, 5000, it still kind of looks okay, but not good. So you can see it's really blocky. So I'll just close this, and I'll undo back to 75,000. So this is okay. Anything like under 100,000 is easily okay for to get a good file size. But it depends on the model. If you have a really big model, you of course need bigger, higher number of triangles. So you have to assess according to each different situation what you have. So what do we have next? Okay, bridge we've already done. Repair mesh. Actually, I've never used this. I really don't really know. Okay. With this one we can. Let's try. If we can delete these. So and select. So basically what this tool does, it deletes the area that you have created and then makes it closes that hole. And so it's basically what we were doing manually. Well, I'll apply this, and I don't know why we can't change the number of neighbors, but yeah, I'm not sure. But you can find out if you can search for it. And actually, what I would like to show here. So now I want to select here, and when I'm using this tool, only the triangles that are completely inside the this area that I've selected are going to be selected. That's why it's good if you do the thinning of the mesh as your last operation. But if you did it and you realize you thin the mesh and you realize you still want to fix something, what you're going to need is refine mesh. So I'm going to now select a bigger area. Oh, actually I didn't go. Wait, first let me close this and select like this. Is it big enough? Maybe still here. Oh, again I didn't. Oh, actually what I can do, is it this one? Select triangle. Now you can click on individual triangles and it will select them. Oh, actually it's even selecting a bit more. That's not supposed to happen. Oh, I guess it won't allow this one to be here in between. But if you want to, if you are selecting really small areas, this can be very useful. Like that. Oh, I guess I was clicking on the border. Yep. Okay. So if you click on the border, it will select all of those that are touching that border. So, and now go to, how do I get out? Like escape. So refine mesh and number of iterations. So how many times it should duplicate the number of triangles. So if you increase this, you see now the number of triangles increased by 4. So you have really small, really fine mesh here. So if you want to make some changes here now, that's very easy. 4 is maybe a bit too much, but you get the idea as a demonstration. And I think that's pretty much all what is what we usually do for mesh editing. So I'm going to finish this video for now.